Welcome to listening to Paint Drive the live stream. We are back again this week. We are a podcast about the art and hobby of miniature painting. I'm Mike.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Dev.
All right. Today we don't have much of a scripted show. We just have a few things that we want to talk about, and Dan is going to then regale us with stories from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Southern Assault #4. Um, Unfortunately, I kind of have to start the podcast off in a bit of a sad note. Dev, can you? Yep. We can jump right into work in progress. This is what I'm working on. I don't have pictures. It's about I'm done with my work in progress.
Is
Next.
that is that the Reaper boat?
No. This is Blood and Plunder. It is the
Uh,
sixth rate frigate. It's a freaking frigate, man. It is about a foot and 18 inches long. So a little bit smaller than the galleon, which was a full 2 feet long and not as tall as the galleon, which was it was 6.5, 7 inches at the back of the galleon, which was kind of cray cray. But yeah, it's fun. Just doing what I call whack fuck, which is dry brushing on it, a lot of it. But you know,
after complaining so hard that dry brushing takes forever, you're now dry brushing.
oh no, I'm not doing artist opus style dry brushing. That is this. There's two different conversations there, right? Artist opus dry brushing, I would have only been able to finish like a panel of this by now. This amount of time I worked on it, but no, this is old school. Give me a paper towel and an extra color dry brushing. So, but what you guys working on? What you doing?
Dan, what you doing?
What am I doing? You guys know exactly what I'm doing. Let's see. I am cleaning up my giant pile of shit since I haven't touched my desk in a while. So I'm just reorganizing some paints. I got a bunch of mechs and things that I purchased at Southern Assault. So I need to reclass and put those in different areas. And oh, I should go get one of them. Actually, oh, you know what? I really need to bring that. I should have brought that from downstairs. Maybe when we have technical difficulties or Mike is talking about something silly, I'll go run and get it. I
We
forgot to bring that.
actually
It
already
was
have.
actually a kind of a fun. It's a fun piece actually.
Yeah,
So yeah, I have a whole bunch of mechs laying around.
we already have
What's
technical.
that?
Already have technical difficulties, so I'm going to cut this. So Dan, what have
So
you been
then
up
I
to?
told him, no, that's not a banana. Thanks, Dev. Thanks.
You're welcome,
Thanks
buddy.
for ruining it for me.
You're welcome. So what have you been up to,
So
man?
apparently I'm the one who's supposed to be talking. Dev is going to be drinking for the both of us, and Mike is just going to go into the nether doing whatever he's doing.
I'm on non-alcoholic
Painting
today, man.
fingernails.
I've switched to alcohol-free.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay,
Golden
so
Dagger.
I guess today I got to talk about Southern Assault. And excuse me if I keep rubbing my eyes and stuff, but I got something in it. I wouldn't say eyelash or anything because I don't have any hair, but I can't seem to get whatever it is out of my eyeball.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that's my
Southern
finger.
Assault.
No.
What's
What
that?
have you been working on, dude? We're still on the working
Oh, what have
on
I been
section.
working on? No, I already told you. I've been working on cleaning up my desk because I have tons and tons of mechs because of Southern Assault laying on my desk right now. So I need to put those guys away and repackage a bunch of stuff because I had like 5 bags that had like mechs and robot stuff, and I have like 2 boxes that have Dark Angels in it. So I gotta like reshuffle those and put those around. So I just need to clean my space. It's just very unorganized and very cluttered. So that's my hobby progress.
Okay. I have actually finally put paint to model. Recently, I sat watching something a few days ago and started on this guy. I'm not sure how well the light is going to show on this. That is horrific. Can we brighten that up any? Probably not, because I turned all the overlights off, but... little dude from Relic Blade, I can't remember the model's name. But, there we go, in focus. Just playing around with some gold NMM and just trying to work on blends and stuff again after basically being told my painting sucks. So that's some, and then I got bored of doing him, so I moved over to a little gnome sharpshooter. Again, playing around with little wet blending and things like that. You know, I really should have just switched to the other camera. That would have come out a lot better, but hey.
I was wondering why you didn't use your other camera. That's a really awesome setup.
All right. Let's see if I can make this work.
Who told you your painting sucked, Dev?
No, it sucked, but you know, slight
Mike said it. I heard him.
At my performance in the MSP Open. All right. Let's see. Where are we at?
Well, it's out of focus and upside down.
Oh, it is upside down. Do not have a fix for the upside
What?
down except holding it upside down as well.
There you go.
Oh. There we go. So, yeah. Little gnomish character. I've been working on this piece. Just, you know, having some fun. And previous model. Just, you know, fairly quick, choppy work. I probably work more on his skin tones, but definitely need to finish up the eyes a little bit.
Are you having fun?
I don't know. I mean,
That's a fair answer. Fair answer.
I think what it comes down to is that I kind of sit back and I look at the model at the end of the session and I'm like, I hate everything about this. Like in the moment I don't hate the process, but I come out at the end of the session and just I'm like, I'm in no way proud or happy with what I've done.
Yeah, but maybe it's just a getaway and brain to decompress and stuff, and really don't have to really produce anything. Just maybe it's just a way to just not think about work and things like that. 'Cause that's why I just paint lines on all my mechs, and then wash it all out and do it all over again. It's either that or watch music videos, and that's even worse.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I mean, at this point, I feel like I need to do something with my hands if I'm like sat at the computer or sat watching TV or whatever. So I don't know. I just got to keep kind of forcing myself into it.
I tried that and I lost.
We'll
I had
see.
to have a deadline.
I think what I
You
may
have to have a
start doing
deadline.
is I may start streaming again and use that time to kind of push myself into painting and not necessarily worry about what I'm painting quite as much, and work on the streaming skills, work on keeping stuff in focus, keeping models, the painting process visible, and try and develop those skills instead of thinking about painting quality and smooth blends and not lumpy paint finishes and things like that. We'll see. We'll get there in the end.
Yeah, he
Looks
gets
like
there. Yeah, work on your new toys, man. That's freaking awesome.
Sean is apparently really wanting to get into BattleTech. So Dan, do you want to tell us all about your experience at Southern Assault and see if you can't tempt him into
I will try.
BattleTech?
I hope to tempt him into it because that would be awesome. Because I need new BattleTech folks. Oh, so let's see. This is number 4 of BattleTech Southern Assault, and that was kind of my reintroduction into gaming many years ago. Because I try to get out of it, but don't know how I stumbled upon it. I think I was shopping at Fortress Miniatures online, and something popped up about a BattleTech tournament, and it was just like one of those times where I'm like, hey, I think let's see. Yeah, I guess it was just was it before? It had to have been after COVID. I don't know when the hell it was, but somehow we got there. And I guess COVID wasn't around somehow. So ended up going and met some wonderful folks. And I was like, hey, this was just a really good way to get away from world and meet people that I've seen online. Because that's the first time that I got to meet Justin, the armed painter. And that was like really freaking cool for me. Now we're buds, which is really cool. But before, meeting someone that you've always wanted to meet was, it's always kind of nerve wracking and getting to know who they are. But after the weekend was done, it was cool. And that's also where I ran into some other podcasters, especially the guys over at MechBay, that are just fabulous guys and friends. So I got to hang out with them again. So every year we always run into each other, either at Adepticon, sometimes at Nova, if we run into each other at Nova, and then we always run into each other at Southern Assault. So so let's see. I was thinking of not going because I just didn't have anything painted for a while, but I did buy the tickets. I think it was back in May. I think May the tickets came online, so I just went ahead and purchased those tickets because I was in the mood and wanted to do it. And the new Kickstarter just came out, so we were all waiting for our stuff to come out for a while. Then work and life and everything else got in the way, like it normally likes to do when you're trying to have fun. But I talked to some buddies, and I got lucky enough to get into a big house, a huge freaking house, with some of the podcast guys and some of the folks that I ran into at the beginning. Most of the guys are from Detroit, so I got to stay with them, and it was obviously it was a lot of fun. It started out. Let's see, Southern Assault 1 started out with about 35 players, I think we were talking about, and then it went up to about 50, and then it was near 100, so it's probably 80 something last year, and this year we had 100 and over 120. So we're gathering a lot of attention. For the last 2 years, we've had representatives from Catalyst show up. This year they had some special stuff for everybody and for the winners especially. So that was always a cool surprise. So let's see. So we have traditions that we do at for dinners for certain nights, and of course it gets bigger and bigger with more people. So that can be fun. This year, I think the pizza place we went to, I wasn't quite satisfied. We've always gone to pizza places, but then this year we went to an Italian restaurant. So it's kind of hard when you're like trying to set that pizza theme and people are buying like spaghetti. So it didn't kind of like work out well. Then we go to a Mexican restaurant, which was always kind of fun. I wasn't really hungry though because I ate so much crap during lunch because we had lunch catered. Because we're doing that well that we can have catered lunches. But it was pretty cool. And I got to sit in an elementary school cafeteria. The seats are still very small and it was, um, lots of little teeny weeny tables and chairs. It was pretty funny. So gaming wise, as you can all imagine, I can still say that I am winless after 3 seasons of Southern Assault. Unfortunately, I tied twice. So I played against some pretty cool guys. Actually, it was Justin. So I got in with Justin as the ringer. He was trying to pop my winless cherry, and that didn't work. So we tied. And then I ran into a gentleman by the name of Connor, and we played and we tied. And I was like, wow, this would be really cool if I could set a new record of the number of ties I can get. But I think they changed the rubric because there's a lot of people that were having ties this year. But that's kind of cool. It makes it kind of fun. Then I but I played. David 1, David 2, and then Michael 1 and Michael 2 for the remainder of the times I was there. So it was kind of funny that everybody had the same names, like usual. I didn't see any other Dans though. Usually I go into a place and there's lots of other Dans, but lots of Mikes, lots of Daves. I think there was a couple other names too. So, let's see. Did pitiful, as I said. Paint wise, there were a lot of really cool ideas and a lot of great paint jobs as normal. My dry brush did not do as well as I thought it would do. I think we talked earlier about how much I hate oil paints, but I tried it again and again and again, and I still just don't have any luck with it. So I think I'm just done with trying to do oil paint. Probably not, but that's what I'm saying right now. I tried Noosh from Monument Hobbies, and I have to say I haven't been able to figure it out yet. I think I know how it works, but when I started working, it was like Thursday night, and I had to leave early in the morning because I had a couple of things to do before I took off. So I didn't get a chance really to concentrate on it. So right now, it's iffy for me, but I have a whole bottle of it. But I hope to be able to use it again when I'm not under so much pressure to create a bunch of great looking mechs. So let's see. So let's go. We don't need to talk about the house. The house, like I said, the house is pretty big. I got to hang out with my buddies from other podcasts and some guys from Detroit. But I want to talk about, since we are talking about painting, I want to share something real quick. And this was really cool because there was an age and a time when we would experiment with different kinds of paints and paintings. So our good buddy from the Coolant Pod, they Pirate, he made this really cool. Man, I'm gonna feel like shit if I got his podcast wrong. I'll double check one more time. He was talking to me and he was showing me this really cool stuff. And he'd say, "Hey, check this mech out." I'm like, "Okay, this is cool, neat paint job. Your guys are all these different colors and stuff." And I just couldn't quite figure out what was going on. So I'm gonna share real quick if I can figure out how to share. All right. So I don't know how close you can get to it or not. So he experiments with like all kinds of just paints for the shits and giggles of it. So he was able to find a temperature paint So it's like a moonstone. So when you touch it, it changes colors. So you can see the different colors that he has on here. So when it was like normal color, it was like the tannish color. But then when it was really cool, it got like these warm colors, which were really kind of funny because it's like an opposite. And when it was really warm, it would go into the cool colors. So blue was like really, really hot. And then as it transitions into the greens and then it goes into oranges. It was really cool to see this. You're not going to be able to see it on video, but one night because we were drinking, um, we oh, is it not going to go over? There we go. I'll see if I can get this to work. I don't know. I'm streaming, right? So it's not letting me do it. Oh no. Is there a reason why it's not working?
I don't know. I mean, if you send
Oh,
me the
you can see
file,
it.
I can
Okay,
try and
there we
make it
go.
work. Yeah, I can see the
Says
statics, but the playback didn't work.
okay, then we're not going to worry about the playback then. So there was a video and we were just messing around. So we went up. Actually, I'm going to just stop sharing then. So what we did is we put it in the fridge to get it really cold, and then we would we would get like really hot water, and then put it in the fridge, and we could watch the colors. So I videotaped the colors of it, and it was really fun. And he did his whole entire army like this. So I appreciate that he spent the time on it, and it was experimenting, and was having a lot of fun with it. And it was a really neat effect that he was able to do. So that goes out to Pirate for his imaginative painting. And he shared with me lots of other painting things that he does, like vehicles. And that was quite amazing also. So I look forward to seeing what he's able to do next year. He did tell me what he's doing next year, but I'm not going to spoil it. He's thinking outside the box. So it's a lot. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Let's see. I don't know. What else can we talk about? Let's see. We had the big house. One thing I did notice, and I think other conventions this happens too, but usually when you get really large conventions, that they folks start bringing their spouses. So for the last bunch of years, I don't recall seeing any spouses, but this year there were quite a few, and actually some of them played. So I thought it was really neat that there were at least I think 3 couples that were actually playing. And
That
a
is
couple
cool.
of them actually won like top prizes. So
Nice.
it's really cool that you could have that kind of hobby and do it with your spouses and enjoy it, and then go to tournaments together. So that was kind of neat. Um, let's see. So every year we also have a since Fortress Miniatures, Bobby out that way. He collects lots of BattleTech and other games too, because he has an online store, and he brings some of his extra stuff that he gets throughout the year. And we were talking about how, how you find those Grail items. So we were talking about like Grail finds, because they're just like random conversations that people just happen to have, and then they say, hey, well, we know this one guy who buys BattleTech stuff and Star Wars and Robotech and everything else. So we were talking about that, and I was talking about stereos and how there was a guy that I follow online who found a Grail. And so we were just talking back and forth. So he had some old Warhammer stuff, which I really didn't want to purchase, but I showed you guys. So I'm trying to figure out the best way of showing this. I wonder if I can use this book here so I can show it. And you guys, so people know this picture, but I just bought it because of the picture, and it's a sealed box deal still. So what happened was the person who purchased it used to have a store, and then they got shut down because for some reason I can't remember the reason they got shut down, but they weren't allowed to sell any of the items in the store, and he just opened it. So they had to sit in storage, and then they're like, hey, I just don't want this shit anymore. And eventually got to Bobby. So I purchased this, if you can see it, and you cannot see it. There we
There you
go.
go.
Way back here you can see it. It's the Scarface Blood Angels box for
Dark
for
Angels.
whatchamacallit, for Epic. And
Dark Angels,
yeah, they
right?
are Dark Angels. I wish, oh man, I wish you can see it really close. But look, you can't see anything at all. Oh, there you go, a little bit of it. I'm gonna have to get this fixed. I have to figure this out. So, technical difficulties, of course. So it was just a really neat find. But he had like every freaking army out there, and he had tons of stuff. I'm not sure how many people are into Epic anymore. I guess you could use it with what is
Titanicus.
the Titanicus? And
You
then they
could
have
certainly
the
use it with
people version.
Titanicus.
I don't know. I can't hear you, Mike. You're talking at
It's
your
slightly
talking to
different
your boat.
scale, dude. It's the old Epic is
Is
Oh,
it
6
is it?
mil
really?
and it's now 10 mil, I think, for the new stuff.
Oh, that'd be a perfect size for people though. But apparently this has 24 rhinos and 120 marines in this little box. So I should be playing that instead. If he had other space marines, I probably would have picked them up also because I got it for a pretty good deal. Um, just regular price, not a sale or anything like that. And then picked up a bunch of Robot Tech stuff, and then I bought a couple of loose mechs. He was able to get a hold of an old container that had a bunch of original battle droids and battle mechs. So it was really cool to be able to thumb through these big boxes of just metal, just all packed in there, and you don't know what you're looking for. You're just digging through it stuff. So it was a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't know what else there is to talk about. I mean, it was a lot of fun as normal. I enjoyed all the people that I run into and I play. They're always a lot of fun. There's always a little bit of drama, and we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, if you guys have questions, let me know and I can talk you through anything. I think Mike would have enjoyed the downstairs. I was trying to explain it to my wife. So they had to do some so they refinished this whole house. So they knocked out walls. So it was really open space. And the reason they did it is because they knew it was going to be a home that would be used for lots of people to have get-togethers, because they're right next to a college. So downstairs in the basement, we don't know what they did, but there was a half a step. And we're like, well, that's kind of weird. But they also, this when you go down the stairs, I guess I don't know what you call it. It's not the landing or anything, was really short. So it's the wall itself came down to my chest. So Mike, I actually don't know if you would be able to get down the stairs because the wall was so short. So there's signs everywhere in here that says, please duck, the ceiling's short. And I was the only person to hit my head because I ducked really low to get up, but someone said something and I turned and then I stood up and it hit my head. And I hurt like a bitch, but then I just laughed about it because, of course, Dan is going to be the only person to hit his head on this low ceiling.
I would have probably gotten stitches. I would have probably gotten
Well,
I
if you
always
were
say,
to
like,
walk straight, Mike, your chest would hit the wall. So you had to duck to get down. Going up the stairs, it's the overhang. So until you got to the top step, you still had to duck. So you might have hit your head. You definitely would have hit your head. You're tall enough where you would hit your head. So the really tall guys just didn't even go downstairs to take a look at it because it just wasn't worth it.
So
it was pretty fun.
Where were we when the shower? What was that at Banshee's class in Norfolk, or was that at Adepticon the first year with the shower? That was like the shower head.
Where
Was
did
that
we
my
stay?
chin?
We just lost Mike.
I think that was Adepticon last year. Dan,
I just lost your mic
I
too.
still have Mike.
Oh,
But
I wonder if
whilst
it was
there's
my
a
headphones.
interrupt, Christopher's just joined us. He jumped on late. He's asking what Mike is painting. So do you want to show us again, Mike?
Sure.
He's painting one of his shoes.
Yep, this is one of my shoes. It
Those are
is
slippers.
It is the 6th rate frigate from Blood and Plunder, the game.
Yep.
And yeah, this is You know, I had said I was done with commissions, and I was, and then somebody I've painted for in the past made a monetary offer that I couldn't say no to. And so I'm finishing up that last wave of stuff, and hopefully it'll be done soon.
And you
But
will not be waking
yeah,
up with a horse's head in your bed.
yes,
Exactly.
exactly. You know,
Those Sean was saying something about the food sucking at Winston Salem. Um, for the most part, yeah, but in the first 2 years that we went to the pizza shops, I really liked it. And get this now, I'm sure you guys all know this, Mike and Dev. I'm not sure, but they have a grocery store called Lowe's,
mhm.
and it's very rustic. And I wish there was one here. It is like, I don't know, maybe it's because it's just new, but it's really freaking cool. They have like a cotton candy maker in there. They have an ice cream place. They have a wine bar, a beer bar inside the freaking store. And it's not like giant like Wegmans on our coast. It's just like a normal sized grocery store, but decent prices. That I was super amazed, and I was like, a kid in a toy shop, man. It was pretty freaking cool.
Nice.
So I'll just go there just for that. Um, uh, I got a couple things of food. Actually, I have some cookies upstairs I need to eat, but they're not that good. It's just the experience, not the food. But the pizza places that I went to over the last couple years, though, are really freaking awesome. That was the first time I ever had a pizza made with hot honey.
Mm.
It was so that
Hot
was
honey and
pretty
bacon.
interesting. But the pizza was really good. And then I had to listen to the guys debate if Chicago or Detroit pizza is better, and we talked about that the other night. And I guess I'll try to figure that out. And I found out also that Detroit is only 8 hours drive, so I'm probably going to go to their tournament in May, depending on how the kids' school stuff falls into place. Last year I wanted to go, but I had two kids' graduations in between. I was like, nope, that's not going to happen. So this year, I hope that I can get up there because it's only a day drive. A day drive back, and then, um, yeah, just chill out with those guys because they are a lot of fun.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you, Sean. Every time I've been to Winston Salem because every year, since I was in high school, all the way through college, and all the way coaching debate, the first national tournament for college of the year was Wake Forest. I don't know if we just lost Dev. Hopefully, we didn't
I
lose
think
the
he's
stream.
adjusting his camera like I'm
Oh,
adjusting my
okay.
mic.
He's just pretending nothing happened. But so yeah, that is the one thing that was a kind of a universal complaint from students and myself was kind of the food suck down there. Hopefully, it's gotten better. I know it's probably been about 5 or 6 years since I've been down there, but yeah, no, yeah, Winston Salem is it's an interesting little area.
Yeah, it's actually I really like the neighborhoods around there, and it's a really old neighborhood. You can see like the huge effing trees. There was because of all the storms they came through, or the storm they came through. They were affected, but not by too much. But some of the more old diseased trees did fall, so we did see a couple of those, and in some of the other conversations, people were like just chopping them up, and some are rotted on the inside. So it was like that would have been a really good base to have. But that's all right. Someone to make a good kitchen table out of some of them, or firewood or something like that. Um, um, I liked North Carolina, but man, I do not enjoy the highways and interstates around the Greensboro area. That was like really confusing. It's worse than Baltimore. I just didn't like the way the roads were going and stuff. Because every time, I'm not gonna say I got lost, but my GPS just wasn't picking up the right roads, and so it'd be like turn here, and then I turn and it says, "Ha ha! Now you have to go for 3 miles and do a U-turn and come back and get back on the same road." That happened three freaking times in the same area. Like, man, this thing sucks. But once you got out of it, it was pretty cool. And it's always a nice drive. I was lucky I didn't hit any of the deer, and I probably counted about 50 dead deer on the road. So all you hunters out there probably need to go check that place out 'cause there seems to be some deer that need some thinning out there.
Hey, let's do a chat check. How many people we got on listening?
None. They all left, Mike.
No, we still got 3 concurrent viewers. Sean is an advocate for North Carolina, but does think it's pretty up there. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's I used to spend I used to spend quite a bit because I'm from Southern Virginia, so we would always go down we would drive into North Carolina to surf. And you know, I didn't do the Outer Banks thing a lot. A lot of people that I was friends with growing up, or that's where you whatchamacallit, you vacationed at a Hatter, either Hatteras, Outer Banks.
Why you live
Surf
there?
shop
That's
used to-
like
the surf
you live
shops
in Virginia Beach. Why would you go like partying in another beach?
the surfing sucks in Virginia Beach. The waves are terrible, and you'd only have to go an hour south to get better waves. They're not great, but they're still better than Virginia. And plus, you know, some of them, I can't remember the name of the beach. It was just like there's Chesapeake Beach, also known as Chicks Beach, down in Virginia Beach. That where the locals went instead of going to Virginia Beach proper or Sandbridge. And there was a little beach that we used to go to that was not touristy at all in North Carolina. But also, you know, I'm a Navy brat, and so a lot of times there was stuff with Camp Lejeune being done because you know, if you look at the military org chart, the Marine Corps is still considered under the Navy, under the Department of Navy. They are also you also know this because they're the only one of the branches of the service that does not have a secretary. They have a commandant, I believe. And so, because you have Secretary, Navy, Army, Air Force, and Coast Guard, but you do not have one for the Marine Corps. You have a commandant. You know, it is what it is. But so we used to spend, being a Navy brat, we used to go down to Camp Lejeune, and you know, but also the furniture capital of the East Coast, High Point, North Carolina. That was also a big debate trip as well. They hosted a huge debate tournament. But you know, because once a nerd, always a nerd. But all right, so I mean that's it for Southern Assault. Any other Edens?
Pretty much.
So
Do you guys have questions or anything?
I do. Are you buying repeat mechs? I thought you had all the mechs already from the 2 different.
Well, yeah. If I'm not stripping my mechs, I am buying additional ones. So, you know, when you buy a couple Kickstarters and then you buy a box here, and then I came across a bunch of mechs on the second market. I had a bunch of mechs from when I played originally, so I have a lot of stuff. But there's a lot of stuff I don't have either. Oh, 3D printer didn't help either with making all those mechs too. So I try to make army.
Printed like the first few things you printed for me were like mechs giving the middle finger.
Yes, probably. And the gigantic walking dildo. I'll have to gold plate that one for you.
Yeah, right. So, I don't have any other questions about that. Dev, do you, about Southern Assault? I mean,
sounds like a fun time. I still haven't really played.
It is. It's like when you guys go to a convention that you really like, because there's people. It's the people that make it fun. It's not the event itself. That's why I like it. They're a good crew of folks. They're, you know, becoming more and more popular because this kind of like built up this tournament style, because it's not an official tournament, because, you know, it's kind of like I don't even know how to explain it. But it's the type of game that wouldn't normally have a tournament assigned to it, but they're able to use some rules. It's become fairly popular, and the folks that followed it and used those to build their own little store tournaments and things like that, that's what makes it kind of cool. Nice. And it's definitely growing in popularity because it's a fast game. You know, you can do a lot of stuff in 2 hours. it's kind of like Kill Team essentially, because and the rules are much different than Classic. So a lot of people that want a quick game can do that rather than Classic, which you have like 2 mechs and it takes like 18 hours to play it.
So
Like, oh,
it's
your guy
Alpha
is drunk.
Strike
He's got a
rules.
-1 to hitting, and then like, oh, he bumped his head, and you have to roll to see if he can open his eyes. Shit like that. So
So is it Alpha Strike kind of rules?
it's called Alpha Strike.
Yeah, it is Alpha Strike. Okay.
So Alpha Strike is just 2, and the other thing is it's 2 dice. You
Okay.
just need 2 dice, and
Yeah.
uh, you can, yeah, you can use a regular ruler like the tape, rolling tape and stuff like that, measuring tapes, stuff like that. But the rules are fairly simple. They can get complicated, but we never put into a situation where they are complicated. Like, I'm trying to keep my heat down, and there's a puddle of water, so I stand in that, and then no, we just go and play.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
So a buddy of mine, actually the person who I'm painting the Blood and Plunder stuff for, who owns Crimson Field Gaming, a guy named Dutch, went to over the past weekend was also Fall in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is a historical gaming convention.
Yep.
And he found a game there, which is a medieval jousting tabletop game, and he doesn't know it was just listed as Joust, but I could totally get behind something like that. That to me seems like it would be a simple, quick, fun game to play, 3 or 4 turns, or you know what I mean, and you'd be done. And he really liked it too, but I guess the game is no longer exists. It's just somebody happened to have the old rules and a couple of models and set up a demo. And so I'm like, God damn it. Something I'm interested in. It's just like if I want a Games Workshop to bring back the old Western game they had, because that was actually fun as hell to play.
So I
Mhm.
think the jousting game was never a actual separate launch. It was a set of rules that they put in a White Dwarf at one point. I think it was like a celebration of the Bretonnian army being released when Warhammer 5th edition, 4th edition, 5th edition dropped. And they did.
I don't know.
Back then, they used to occasionally put a full game into an
White
issue
Dwarf.
of White Dwarf, and so I think that was one of them. There was another one which was like a bar fighting game that was quite fun. Bombers over the Sulphur River was originally a Warhammer scenario, but then did actually get a full game release. Yeah, it
Okay.
they used to do crazy things.
I could
like that.
totally get down. I could totally be down with like a simple game like a jousting game, or almost like a High Noon type of gunslinger game would be fun. But a bar fight sounds awesome. Like that sounds like like you'd have so much fun making up the mechanics for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it would be a game where scenery matters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
There's bar stools
Yeah.
you can pick up and bottles and flip the table. Yeah. Yeah. It was a great game.
You can get like 74 millimeter or something. Be way bigger.
Yeah. If you can find the models. I mean, there's not as many sculpts at that scale, right?
No, there's not.
That's why you get a 3D printer and upsize them.
That's right. You print them all up.
It's true. It's
Bring
true.
them all.
I know.
You
It take you
know.
6 years to print up a scenery and then 5 minutes to play it.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think that type of stuff would be fun. You know, like I'm down with those type of like quick games, and you know, painting a tough guy bar fighter would be awesome, or a single horse, a knight. Because I've always like knights have always been a fascination of mine since I was a child, and so anytime I get an opportunity to paint a knight, I take it. So but I thought that was cool. But yeah, the bar fight thing's got my like brain like churning, like all the different mechanics that you could use for it. All right, I have our Kickstarter idea, guys. We're gonna
There you go. Put it together for us, Mike.
Almost geez, like there's so many different like it could be it could be a traveling bar fighting. You know what I mean? Like, all right. So I need to start writing some of the stuff down. This is actually, I think this is actually a potential idea. You know what I mean?
Oh, so Mike
So
will be
we're not.
working on that, and he'll forget what painting is, and then he'll have to start all over again with all his classes
I
because he's
already
making
forgot. I
games.
already forgot what painting was. Well, even while I'm painting, I'm forgetting what it is. Oh, too late on that. But no. So what conventions do we have coming up, guys? I don't have any I don't have anything the rest of the year for 2024. Um,
So,
geez, really, the next thing we know about is for us, Dan, in February, the Richmond Old Dominion Open, which is in
It's in
February.
February.
Yep.
We should go. So I ran into a vendor that lives in Chicoteague, Virginia, and he goes to. We had a conversation about. I think it was him. Yeah, talking about the different conventions. We are talking about Cold Wars, Historicon, Fall In, and I think there was one other one. It wasn't Fall Out. It was one more. So there was four of them, and they were small conventions back in the day, and then they kind of like grouped together because their core was um, miniatures, but not like in our sense, and tabletop board games, but mostly like historicals. Um, and those things happen every couple months. And I keep saying that over in the summer, I want to go back to Lancaster to go to Historicon because Historicon used to be in Fredericksburg because they
Right.
got kicked out for a while and they came back. And I think Cold Wars at one point came too. Um, but yeah, maybe that's something to think about. But I don't know why we were talking about that. But um, let's see, February. Why didn't we go before? Was always something going on. Oh, that was because of the Kill Team
Kill Team
Open.
Open.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's
But
possible. I'm not
next
going to LVO, but go ahead.
next weekend is the Long Island one, which is a huge figure painter show on the East Coast.
Oh,
Um, yeah, actually was going to go to it, but I'm now teaching a 4-person class on the 16th. So, um, but a 4-person beginners class, but another D&D group. Yay! Keep them rolling. I'm charging more this time. I got the price a little bit better this time.
yeah. I don't think there's any conventions for me until KublaCon in May. I'm probably not going to hit LVO. I'm kind of curious because Verco's Vault are taking over the painting side of things, which I think is pretty exciting.
yeah. I'm kind of curious about how that's going to work out and what is that going to bring to the art community.
Yeah, I
Should
would love to
be
go and visit
interesting.
Verco's actually. I know like Michael Kleeman has been, and a bunch of other folks from the Bay Area have made it to a class or two at Verco's already. I haven't coordinated it enough. I need to.
I know we need one of those. One of you guys needs to win the lottery, and we can build our own over here on the East Coast.
I mean, you guys have so much on the East Coast, so much. Like the
Oh
fact
my
that
gosh!
you're talking about like conventions, like even still this year, it's. I mean, KublaCon is literally the only non D&D convention that's within driving distance of me. The only one that.
That's
I thought you
so
had
odd, though.
IPMS shows.
Sorry, Mike.
Don't you have IPMS shows?
We do have some IPMS shows around. We have probably about 5 or 6 of them a year. There's some that are a little further afield, which I don't tend to hit, that are like 5-6 hour drives, but hit most of the ones that are a bit shorter. Yeah, I think I'm not actually sure when the next one of those is going to be. I've not been keeping up on the IPMS stuff as much as I should.
Are you still an
Are you
officer?
still?
No, I relinquished that duty and then got sucked into a work trip when the actual club show was. So I also missed the club show, and I've missed all but one of the meetings since the club show, and have generally not been very present. So Yeah, I need to get better about that, but yeah, it's still going. It's interesting actually because we've got one club in the region that's been very, very like pro sci-fi fantasy, pro Gundam, pro like moving to Discord and doing online hangouts and stuff like that, and that it feels like that's starting to percolate through the other clubs as well. So our club has just started doing online build nights.
I would
Brilliant.
love to find a Gundam show. I think that would be kind of interesting. I don't think those exist in small areas. They'd
There's a
probably have to be in like
huge one
major
in
cities.
LA. Huge one which either is just about to or has just happened. And that's like if you do well in that painting competition, they will fly you out to Japan to the big Gundam show. So there's serious prizing
Yeah.
on there. But
No, that I saw one the other day that was like mechanical or something, and it had like LEDs in it, and it just blew my mind.
yeah,
I don't know how many years it would take for someone to put all that stuff together, but they just have the knack for it. That's
Yeah.
just their thing. I get it.
I got a kit that's I really want to paint. It's a Perfect Grade Unlimited RX 78-2. So it's 1/100th or maybe even 1/70th scale, and it's got all of the LEDs. It's fully articulated. It's got decals and everything. It's like a $300 kit, and I am just too scared to start working on it. It's been sad.
Did you get that in Japan?
I get
in
it,
your
man.
I didn't end up getting it in Japan. I was looking for it in Japan, and then I got back and I hadn't found it. So I was just like, "Fuck it," and ordered it online. I managed to get it at a bit of a discount, but yeah, it was an investment that I'm not sure I'll ever realize.
So we've found, it's really funny. We have found now areas in Northern Virginia there are definitely areas that are building up with Asian communities. Like right by where I used to live out in Centerville, Virginia. Literally right across from where the apartment complex I lived in is this massive shopping center now. And it's like even the English stores have Asian writing signs next to them. There and then in another place in Northern Virginia, I have found like two random like shops that have like our taste of Asia theme type things, and then you walk in and you get the weird ass flavored, you got like octopus ink Doritos and all this other stuff, and then they have like walls of Gundam.
Yep.
And I was like, God. And then one side is like a wall of Gundam, and the next is the garage, not hits, but like all the enemy figures and stuff.
Yep.
But I was like, oh, that, and so it was interesting how, I briefly talked to one of the owners, and they said actually one of the big things that drives their sales is Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, and it's an interesting mentality too, because looking at the people in line waiting to check out, it was a mix between male and female, a bigger mix between male and female than I've seen in any other. I guess D&D is pretty close.
Yeah.
There's definitely a much more equitable distribution in things like D&D. Not so much Warhammer, but Gundam. It was interesting to see that it was a good group of women, and a group of women together were buying them. You know what I mean? It was like friends. Like, that's pretty cool. That's awesome, and it's always makes me think of the South Park episode where the boys and girls play games with play tabletop games, and the girls just absolutely always eradicate the boys because A, they know the rules, and B, their miniatures are painted better, and it's
Yeah.
just really fun. It's a great. I don't know if you've seen that South Park episode, but it's fantastic.
I'll have to check it out.
But
I've not kept up with South Park at all, but
this is a few seasons ago. I showed it to my wife, and she's like, "Jesus, this is like our lives, Mike." And I'm like,
nice.
"Yep, yep, 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 yep." Oh yeah, because that's even with my kids growing up. My son would just kind of like wing everything, but my girls would be like nose deep and reading the rules and how to do everything. My son's like, let's just throw some dice around, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, shall we wrap it?
We can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about an hour. We had a couple other folks jump on, but that's cool. And we were just
Hey,
talking about
who's
on
all in the
painter,
chat?
and he popped up.
We've had Sean and Chris in the chat, and the armed painter. Oh, wait, the armed painter dropped in, and I didn't even see it. Hello.
Hey,
Yeah, he
Justin.
was just there.
So yeah.
I was going to ping you tonight, man. So hopefully you're still on. I'll hit you up in a little bit.
But yeah, well, thanks to Chris and Sean. We didn't get the Pete and Dave weren't here tonight.
Sad times. Sad times. Got to. I mean,
Uh-oh.
sometimes Pete's got to not show up to really continue being surprising. So
Right, to be sneaky.
sneaky. Yeah.
That's sneaky Pete.
And Sean
yeah.
needs to hit me up. Oh, hey, you know what, Sean? I was looking for someone to play Steel Rift with, so we definitely have to connect. Paint, BattleTech, and Steel Rift.
Can you
Sorry,
use
he just made a
BattleTech
comment.
figures for
It's like
Steel
you.
Rift? Is it model agnostic?
I'm sure you could, but they're different, like different.
Okay.
I think they do like vehicles much more, and infantry. It's more conventional, and it's always fun to have little teeny weeny people and robots and motorcycles and ATVs.
Okay.
So what is the Cav? Cav is the one that Reaper prints for the Cav company.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still around?
The last time I checked, it is, and those mechs are like 3 times the size of like a BattleTech mech. So they're not even the same scale. They're huge. Yeah,
There was
I don't
another
remember.
one. What was it called?
I don't remember
Dust?
seeing them at ReaperCon last year. But they were there 2 years ago when Reaper wasn't there.
There was another
Yeah,
game that was called Dust. Yeah.
Dust Tactics is at a different scale. It's much closer to 28 mil.
Yeah.
But it was,
Yeah, those were like really huge pieces.
yeah,
if I remember
post-apocalyptic kind of.
correctly.
Yeah. Very. I don't know if you know Machine and Krieger.
Yeah.
MAK. Yeah. Dust Tactics always had a very Machine and Krieger vibe to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like it's got a lot of alternative history stuff going on in Dust Tactics too.
Yeah.
Like, and so,
yeah,
which is kind of interesting, but yeah, I mean that's it. That's really it for me. What about you guys? Anything else you want to throw out there?
Nothing much on my side.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do us a favor. Hit the like, subscribe button, smash something that looks like a bell. To let you know when we're online. You don't have to worry about my Instagram post and whether that link's going to work or not. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening and watching, and we think you all are awesome and really, really appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yep. Even if it was for an hour or so.
Yep.
Thanks again, folks.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.